Welcome back to our video series. Learn how to configure your data with Cubo Insights in just a few minutes. So far, we have looked at the configurations. In this section, we will take a look at the attributes of an entity. Let's get started. Click here to get started with configuring the logical data model. Click on Edit to start the edit mode. Let's look at the customer entity. By clicking on the Attributes tab here, it will give a list of the attributes associated with the customer entity. By default, these attributes are mapped back to the columns in the primary table. As you can see, the country attribute is being fetched from the country column of the primary table, which in this case is the customer table. Similarly, the country of birth, first name, gender, ID, last name, etc. Cubo performs basic cleansing by default. For example, these underscores were replaced by spaces by Cubo. Let's go ahead and change the names of these entities. You can also change the data types as long as they are compatible. You can drop some of these attributes from the logical data model by clicking on the delete icon. Likewise, you can also change their visibility. For instance, if you wish to ask who are the customers in Korea, you can manage the list of attributes that will show up in the chart by changing their visibility. Say in this case, we hide the attributes like last name, Ozil, etc. Let's look at the gender attribute. Click here and you can see the basic configurations available with gender. You can set up canonical query synonyms, NLP synonyms, just like we did for entities. Let's add sex as an NLP synonym for gender. There are some other advanced configurations available here. If you remember in the previous segment in the named filters, the gender 0, 1 or 2 was an integer. In such cases, a business user may not associate with them and understand what those corresponding values are. Let's change the gender type as string, and we can use functionality in the Advanced tab, which is value substitution. Say 0 is female, 1 is male, and 2 is unknown. Don't forget to save the draft before you click on Activate. Let's reload this. Once the reload is complete, let's look at the impact of logical data model changes that we've made. Log in as a user. Let's go to the personal channel of Cubo, click on the Customer thread, and ask the same query, Customers. And here you go! In our last section, the same query had gender values as 1, 1, 0, with last name as Ozil. But now that we have made the necessary changes, you can now see gender as female, male with only essential columns visible in the chart. That was some basic attribute configuration. In the following segment, we shall discuss some other concepts related to attributes. These include path of foreign key attributes and derived attributes. Stay tuned!